Now let's move to a new subject. It's called arbitrage. Arbitrage is the trading activity that takes advantage of price differences between two markets. So we're looking at the same product, but the product is priced differently in two markets. So you will buy at a low price in one market and sell at a higher price in another market. And this would result in a profit that has no risk at all. It's just like a picking money on the table, and there's no commitment of your own funds, so you can just borrow the money, buy things, and then make the revenue, return the money, and then lock in a profit. Okay, there's usually no waiting time, so you get the money instantly. Arbitrage activities in this chapter. So the first one is a locational arbitrage. Let's say we are dealing with New Zealand dollars, and we have two banks, the North and the South, and we have a bid and ask provided by both banks. And you can see that the North Bank is offering lower rate and the South Bank is offering higher rate. So you will buy low from the North and then sell high to the South, and eventually you will make a profit. And be careful about the bid and ask spread, because when you're buying things, you are paying the higher price, and when you are selling things, you're getting a lower price, which is a bid. And your profit would be $0.005 per New Zealand dollar. So that's the difference between the ask of a North and the bid of the South. And when we're looking at the locational arbitrage, it is very easy to understand that they have to be price differences. But when bid ask get involved, so what would be the opportunity? Is there an opportunity? Let's say the North is offering British pound, and you have an ask and you have a bid here. So does the South Bank. Okay, so the North is offering $1.3 per pound for ask, and for the bid is 1.1, and the South is offering 1.2 and 1.0. And you can see that the North has a higher prices and the South has lower prices, but is there locational arbitrage opportunity for you? Well, you see, the ask here is greater than the ask here, the bid here is greater than the bid here, the average here is greater than the average here. But if you conduct the arbitrage, or if you conduct the trade, you will buy from the South, the lower price zone, and then sell to the higher price zone to the North. Then if you buy, then you will pay the ask price, and if you sell, you will get the bid price. Do you make money when you pay 1.4, 1.2 and only getting 1.1? There's no arbitrage opportunity right here, despite the fact that the North prices are on average higher than the South prices. So you have to be careful about a bid and ask provided by the two places. Okay, so after bid ask, after locational arbitrage, let's talk about triangular arbitrage. Triangular arbitrage, from the name, you see that involves three currencies, and each currency is at the different tip of a triangular. Then right here, we have a US dollar, of course, as one currency, British pound and Malaysian ringgit as the other two currencies. So the trade is definitely from US dollar to one foreign currency, and then to another currency. One is Malaysian ringgit and the other is a British pound. So it's either the clockwise trading direction or counterclockwise trading direction. We don't know that, all right? But we need to figure out which currency to get first. Do we get a British pound or do we get Malaysian ringgit first? Okay, so in the PowerPoint example, we have the exchange rate for pound and a ringgit. So let me just write it here. For pound, the price is $1.6 per pound. Okay, and for ringgit, it's a $0.2 per ringgit. Okay, and there's also cross rate. The cross rate is directly provided by a bank. All right, so you have three financial institutions here: Bank 1, Bank 2, and Bank 3, and they have a different quotes available for you. If there are arbitrage opportunities, like I said, arbitrage opportunity is just like take the money on the table. You take advantage of a price difference of the same product priced differently at two different markets. Okay, so what can we learn from these three rates? First of all, we need to develop the exchange rate that is comparable with the Bank 3's rate. This Bank 3's rate, I call it the quoted rate because this is directly provided to traders. And then from the other two rates, I will need to develop the implied rate, okay, the implied cross rate, which is not directly provided. Okay, and I want to make sure that the implied rate has the same format as the quoted cross rate, which is the amount of a Malaysian ringgit in terms of £1. All right, so in the previous chapter, we learned that the currency here is a pound, and we're looking at the ringgit price per pound. So we are going to use the pound exchange rate on the top, given it's an American term or direct quote, and then the ringgit price down the bottom to get the cross rate. And you will see that the dollar sign get canceled, ringgit sign flip to the top, the pound sign flip to the bottom, and then you will get 8.0 Malaysia ringgit per pound. Okay, now we see a price difference. This is a lower one, and this is a higher one. So you will buy from here and then sell right here. Okay, so there's no way that you can directly just buy at 8.0 Malaysian ringgit per pound. There's no way to do it directly, okay? No direct way to get the 8.0 ringgit per pound because you have to do the trades with dollar getting involved. But there's a way you can sell at this 8.1 ringgit per pound. If you want to sell it, then you should know that the currency you are selling is the currency to the right of the slash line. Okay, so you are selling pounds. So you will need to sell pounds. Okay, when you sell at this rate, essentially that means you sell pounds and simultaneously to buy ringgit. Okay, so if you sell pounds, that means you need to have some pounds in your hand first, so you can make the pound to ringgit transaction. But before you get some pounds, you have to convert your dollar to pounds, and then pound to ringgit, and then Malaysian ringgit back to dollar. You're not making a direct investment in Malaysia. You are interested in getting dollar back in a profit. So you have to convert it to dollars at the last. Okay, so what would be your profit? So let's say we have 1,000 US dollar to start with, and what is my profit? If you use a dollar to get some pounds, and then $1,000, you will need to divide the price in direct quote. There's no bid ask for simplicity, which is and it is $1.6 per pound, and this will give you 625 pound if you use a calculator, and then you do a pound to ringgit conversion. So 625 pound multiplied by 8.1 ringgit per pound. So let me use my cell phone as a calculator. That's gonna be 5,062.5 Malaysia ringgit. All right, and the very last step is to get the ringgit back to US dollar. All right, so you are sell ringgit and you have the direct quote. When you sell things, you multiply the number. When you sell the foreign exchange, you multiply by the direct price. If there's a bid, you use a bid, not ask. But here you only have one price, so it should be $0.0 per Malaysian ringgit. And then this will give you $1,012.5. Okay, so you start with $1,000, and then you end up with more than $1,000. Okay, so you will pay for the original money you can borrow, the 1,000 from someone, and then pay back the principal and have some profit left, $12.5. So in this transaction, you will deal with the 3 banks. One bank deal with the pound, the second bank doing with the cross rate exchange, and the third is the other one who deal with Malaysian ringgit. Okay, and the cross rate you are using here is 8.1, which is a quoted rate, that's directly offered to you, and you don't use this implied rate of it's 8.0. So don't use the cross rate. You use this only for reference, okay? Only for reference, but don't put it in your calculation of a profit. Okay, so this is how we do the triangular arbitrage. Now let me give you another some hint, okay, some steps to follow. First, you need to get the implied cross rate. So right here, the 8.1 Malaysian ringgit per pound is not implied. It is a directly quoted rate. It's a stated rate. You want to get the comparable one, implied cross rate, from the other 2 exchange rates. And also you want to judge which one is overvalued in a quoted cross rate. So in this 8.1 rate, the pound is overvalued. The implied rate gives you 8.0, but now it's priced at 8.1. So this is overvalued. If it's less than 8, it would be undervalued. Okay, so if it's overvalued, then you will sell at this overvalued price. You want to take advantage of overvalued things, right? You want to buy undervalued things and then sell overvalued things. So you want to sell at this 8.1 Malaysian ringgit per pound. And the question then is which currency are you selling at 8.1? It should be the pound. Okay, it should be the pound. You are going to sell the pound in exchange Malaysian ringgit. And that is the core of the triangular arbitrage. You sell pounds to get Malaysian ringgit. And that's going to require you to do these 3 steps. First, dollar to pound, and then pound to ringgit, and the last, ringgit to dollar. Okay, now things are getting more complicated. This will be the hardest kind of question in your first exam. So you have a bid-ask spread making troubles here. Then you have still the quoted rate or the stated provided rate, and then you are going to derive the implied rate based on the numbers here. So how could we do that? So let me just write things up. All right, so here is the dollar price per pound, here is the dollar price per Malaysian ringgit, and here is the ringgit price per pound. And we want to make them comparable. We want to make the implied rate first. So first step is to get implied rate, implied cross rate. Okay. When you do the implied cross rate, as I said earlier, you always do diagonal combination. And you want to do dividing, since these are both direct quotes, both American terms, dollar price per foreign exchange. So you want to do dividing, not multiplying. And then which currency on the top? From the magnitude of the number, you should know that you should put a 1.6 over 0.201 to get a number close to 8. But to get things verified, you can put a $1.6 per pound and then $0.201 per Malaysian ringgit. So since you are getting the Malaysian ringgit per pound, it is the pound that should be on the on the top of the fractional line. Okay, so this is a pound, so pound should be put it here. The pound price should be put here, and then this will give you some number 7.96 Malaysia ringgit per pound. All right, and you will do another diagonal combination here, $1.61 per pound over $0.2 per ringgit. This will give you 8.05 ringgit per pound. So the larger one is the ask price, lower one is the bid price. Okay, just be careful with that. Now you compare. Second step is to compare. You will see that a combination implied right here, the combination of a bid and ask is 7.96 and 8.05. And when you make the comparison, just like the case I mentioned in the earlier locational arbitrage, you want to make sure the ask of the lower range is lower than the bid in the higher range. So right here is a higher price zone, and right here is a lower price zone. But if you do the trading, you have to consider ask and bid. And when you buy, you pay ask. When you sell, you get a bid. And you are always at the bad end of the deal. So when you're buying, you do not get the lower price. When you're selling, you do not get the higher price. Okay. And after you compare, you will see which one is this one overvalued or undervalued. And then you will ask whether this rate overvalued or undervalued. So this price is overvalued. If it is overvalued, then you will sell. Okay, you will sell the overvalued one. So step 3, decide to sell the overvalued stated rate, quoted cross. Sell at the quoted cross rate. Okay. Alrighty. So if you sell at the overvalued cross rate, so that basically come to another question. Then sell what? I said it's an overvalued currency and you should sell at it, but sell what? You should sell the currency to the right of the fractional line. So essentially it's about the price of a pound in amount of a Malaysian ringgit or ringgit price per pound. So you are selling. So step 4 here is a sell sell pounds. You see, sell the currency to the right of the fractional line. Okay, sell pound in the cross rate to get a Malaysia ringgit. Okay, to get Malaysia ringgit. And in the triangular arbitrage, you have a dollar, pound, Malaysia ringgit. Then since you are going to sell pounds to Malaysia ringgit, you need to get pound first from dollar. After you get Malaysia ringgit, you will convert it back to dollar. So that's gonna be your steps in the triangular arbitrage. When things could get complicated if you have a bid ask getting involved. So let's say in the trade process, first you do dollar to pound conversion. Assume you have a 1,000 US dollar, and then you need to get British pound. You need to ask yourself, what am I doing with the British pound? You are buying British pound. Why I don't say I'm selling dollars? Because the rates here, 1.6 or 0.2, these are both direct quote. I'm not saying it's directly provided. It is directly provided, but I'm just saying it's not indirect quote. This is a direct quote, or you can treat it as American terms, which is the amount of dollar or dollar price per foreign currency. Okay, so when you are dealing with American terms, you should know what you do with the foreign exchange, not what you do with the US dollar. So when you're dealing with when you have a direct quote or American terms or dollar price per exchange, you should realize that you are dealing with, you should know you are buying it, not selling US dollars. Okay, so if you buy the pounds, then you will pay the ask price, right? And then after that, you will need to convert pounds to Malaysia ringgit. And when you sell pounds to Malaysia ringgit, you should go for the bid price of that, and then you will need to convert the Malaysia ringgit to US dollar, and then you will sell Malaysia ringgit. When you sell Malaysia ringgit, you go for the bid price again. Okay, so that's the three price I picked from the bid ask zone. Okay, so you start $1,000, you buy, you divide the ask price $1.61 per pound. You will need to convert the pounds to Malaysia ringgit. Right, when you do the pound to ringgit conversion, you will multiply it by the bid price, which is 8.1 ringgit per pound, and then you're going to convert it to US dollar from the ringgit. So essentially your sell ringgit, then you will need to multiply it by its dollar price and its bid price per ringgit. So from this line, you will see that a lot of signs will get canceled. The dollar sign canceled here, and then the pound sign flip to the top because that's going to give you the amount of a pound. And then after you get the pound sign, then you see the pound here and the pound here will get canceled. So pound sign will disappear. You will have only the amount of Malaysia ringgit, and then Malaysia ringgit and the ringgit got canceled, and only the dollar sign get left. So your final answer should be the amount of dollars, which is come from 1,000 divided by 1.61 times 8.1 and then times 0.2. So your final answer here is 6.2. Okay, 6.2. And this PowerPoint just to show you how you get there, but did not quite tell you how you get the put up the calculation, put up the formulas. So the answer would be 1,006.2 US dollars. Okay, and this time your profit is 6.2 US dollars. What was your profit without bid-ask spread? In our previous calculation is at $12.5, but because bid-ask, because the bank is in the middle to charge you the fees through bid-ask spread, your profit from this triangle arbitrage is eaten up partially by the bank. Okay, and here is another example which I will not put in a whiteboard, so let me just talk through this. Here you have the two other currencies, euros and pound, and also the cross rate of pound and euro, which is the amount of euro per pound. And you have a direct rate, you have the indirect rate. If you have this kind of setup for triangular arbitrage problems, you immediately ignore the indirect rates, okay, or the European terms. Just ignore this, just to focus on the American terms. All right, remember what was our first step? Our first step is to get the implied cross rates from this given American terms, okay? So I'm going to get the amount of euro per pound, which is comparable to this bank, from the rates here and the rates here. And I'm using American terms only, not European terms. Okay, and as I said, you need to do the diagonal combination, the bid of one bank with the ask of the other. So you should do the dividing, not multiplying. All right, so if you do that, then you need to know which currency should be on the top. So if you put you should put the pound price on the top and euro price down the bottom. So it's a $1.9712 per euro per pound divided by $1.4742 per euro, and then you will get the amount of a euro per pound for the implied cross rate. Okay, And then you do the same thing, 1.9717 divided by 1.4738, you will get 1.3378. So that's the pound price divided by the euro price. Then you will get the amount of euro per pound for ask. Okay, you see, to get the ask, which is the higher one, you use the higher numerator and a lower denominator. Okay, 1.7 is greater than 1.2, so this is a higher for the numerator. And if you want to get the lower cross rate, then you will use the lower numerator and a larger denominator to get this. So the red colors, they are within one system, and the black colors are within one system. So after you get the implied cross rate, then you will need to compare with the directly quoted or directly provided rate offered by another bank. And this bank offers a bid ask like this, 1.3310 and 1.3317. This is implied and this is quoted, and you will judge whether the quoted is overvalued or undervalued. You see, definitely this is a lower range of prices, but you also need to pay attention to bid ask. If you buy from the lower one, you will need to pay the ask, and if you sell at the higher one, you only get the bid. So, and then you compare the bid of the higher prices and the ask of the lower prices. Is there a trade? Yes, there is. You can buy at 1.3317 and sell at 1.3371 to lock in a profit. Okay, but you cannot directly sell at 1.3371. You can only directly buy from at 1.3317. Okay, what currency are you buying? This is the price for pound, so you should buy pound. Your triangle arbitrage basically is consists of buying pound and then sell for euros in the middle of the 3 steps. If you buy pound with euros, of course, this is the euro price, then which currency should you have? You want to buy pounds with euros, so that's in the middle of your trading process. That's going to require you to get euro first or get pound first. You see, you need to buy pound with euros. So when you, as an American trader, if you want to buy pounds with euros, so which currency should you get first with US dollars? The answer is euros. You're going to start with 1,000 with any amount of dollars. You get euros, so you can buy pounds with the euros. And then after you get the pounds, you will sell it for US dollars. Okay, so here is your process. You're gonna buy euros first. When you buy, you pay the ask price, $10 million to get the amount of euros, and then you use the euros, take advantage of this undervalued quoted cross rate, and then you get the amount of a pound. Okay, from euro to pound, and then you're gonna sell the pounds at the bid price offered by another bank. Then you will have a dollar figure left, and this dollar figure basically is greater than the $10 million you started with, so the extra $40,790 is your profit.